Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is how to cause women to want you to be exclusive with them without you having to bring it up. In other words, how do you get women to ask you to be your boyfriend? How do you get women that you're dating to blow off all the other guys that they happen to be seeing or dating, so they only have eyes for you and they want to be in a relationship with you, and they actually bring it up first without you even having to bring it up? I have an email here from a guy who was in that situation. I believe he was wanted to get an ex-girlfriend back that he had dated. And so he says, "Hey Corey, recently I hooked up with my ex who I was going to write you about and let you know the progress and how that happened after reading your book and looking at your videos. But now I have another issue with her. She recently stayed with me for 6 days in which we went bowling, ate out for dinner, had dinner with a married couple who are friends of hers. We had sex almost twice a day. She touched me. When we walked together, she would hold my hand. She caressed my skin, my hair, touched my body parts with affection. We cuddled and had fun. I would make her dinner, and she would do the dishes, and she would make breakfast for me while I was asleep." That's pretty cool. "I kissed her in the morning before I went to work, and we kept everything upbeat, fun, and a lot of communicating. I did not bring up getting back together or titles, but she tells me she wants to take it slow. I agree with her because she is worried about repeating what we had before, and that I'm bringing to the table with her is worth us getting back together." The most important thing that you need to focus on with women that you're dating is just having a good time, having fun together, making them laugh, and not worrying about the future, but instead living completely in the moment, being totally, completely present in the moment right now, because that's the only moment there is. Why? Because you can't do anything about the past, and the future is not here yet. So the only thing that matters is what you do right now today. And since women are emotional beings, you want to focus on having a good time with them, making them laugh, and have fun, because love is playful and fun. It's not serious, and that's why you don't want to bring up all the serious talk about dating, relationships, boyfriend, what we are to each other. Are you dating anybody else? I don't want you dating anybody else, that kind of thing. Because a guy that perceives himself as a catch, I mean, when you look at like movies from 30, 40, 50 years ago, it was always the guys who were successful, they're going about their lives, their purpose, they're building their companies, or they're growing their careers, whatever it happens to be, and the woman would come along and she just decides that I'm going to make this guy mine. And so they start dating, they romance, they have sex, they have a great time together, and throughout the movie, she's kind of trying to corral him and get him to blow off other women that he's dating and make things really great for him so she can get him all to herself. And usually the guys are always trying to avoid commitments, and they're trying to stay single and without the labels for as long as possible. And that's what you want, because at the end of the day, it's women, when they get to the point where it's all about becoming one, because the more time you spend with them and the higher their level of interest and attraction for you grows over time, eventually it'll get to the point where they get you all to themselves and you're living under one roof together, whether you're living together or you end up getting married. And that's basically what happens as you get closer and closer. As she feels more and more comfortable with you and she starts to perceive you more and more as the ideal guy that she wants to be with, she's going to blow off the other dudes that she's dating and only have eyes for you. So he says, I'm trying not to do things that she thinks that I may be rushing her, and that's why you don't bring up the topic of relationships or commitment or any of those things, because those are things that women tend to bring up, because they bring those things up because they're unsure of where they are with you, or they want to get you all to themselves. And he says, when talking about the future, she mentions having kids with me and being married like she wants to be an item one day soon. The thing is, you never read too much into those things. It's a nice thing to say and appreciate it when a woman says stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you always look at what a woman does and not so much what she says. And you got to remember, the other thing is that since women are emotional beings and they express things to you, like talking about the future and those things, that is a reflection of only how she feels in that particular moment. And going forward, if you do more things right, she's going to start thinking those thoughts more and more and bringing those things up more and more. But if you go forward, as the days and weeks go by and you're doing things wrong with her, she's going to back off. She may be cold sometimes. She may not bring those things up. And that's why it's important to watch her actions and watch how often she brings these things up. Because if you're doing things right, she's going to talk about it more and more. She's going to call you more and more. She's going to reach out to you more and more. She's going to want to come over and see you. She'll be texting you things like, oh, I miss you. I was thinking about you. I can't wait to see you again. I had such a great time last night. Those kinds of things. She initiated all the contact with me, and I have not been doing any chasing. It didn't take long for me to open her up emotionally once she let me back into her world. And that's because you made her feel safe and comfortable. He says a few months ago, she was cold and distant and living with another guy she met a month after we broke up. We were together almost 2 years, and their relationship lasted for about 3 months. We broke up in December of last year, and she contacted me in May of this year, in which she started talking again. And that was important because you walked away from this girl. You said, hey, give me a call if it doesn't work out, and you went about your life. And since 97% of the guys that are out there don't understand women, they don't get this stuff, it's just a matter of time before they fuck it up and turn them off. And when you've walked away and she hasn't heard or talked from you in a couple of months, because human beings, what we always do is we tend to look at the past through rose-colored glasses, and so all those bad things and those bad or those negative emotions that she felt about you or towards you that led to the breakup, as time goes by, she doesn't focus on those things. She'll tend to naturally focus on the good memories and the things that she liked about you. But it's important that you give them the space, because we're like a lot of guys that are trying to get a girl back is they chase her, they beg, and they plead, and that's weak, because a man who's sees himself as a catch, he's not going to fucking chase after women, because if the girl breaks up with him, he thinks, or doesn't want to date him or whatever, he's just like, hey, it's your loss, give me a call if it doesn't work out. She tells me she is scared of commitment and doesn't know what will happen with us, and that in a relationship she always finds something to eventually break it off. And she's saying, I'm scared of a commitment, and that's why you don't bring it up. Because if you bring it up, she says she's scared of a commitment, it's going to scare her, it's going to push her away. But if she starts bringing it up, if she starts talking about marriage, relationships, living together, all of those things, then that means that her safety and her comfort level have risen to the point where she's really seriously contemplating those things internally, and she's feeling the kinds of emotions that she needs to feel in order for her to want those things and to bring them up to you without you bringing them up. She tells me she doesn't mind if I'm dating other women, which tells me without her saying it that she plans on dating other men. But when I bring that topic up to her and say, well, if you intend to date other men, I'm out of the picture. I would never say something like that. That's a fuck up on your part. You're basically telling her you need to be exclusive with me. You can't date other guys. And so in a roundabout way, you're still bringing up relationships and you're trying to force her to do something she's not ready for. And bottom line, dude, is you got to look at it is that you're starting over with this girl. You don't have the right to ask her to be exclusive with you yet, because you did so many things in the past wrong to fuck up, which led to you getting dumped. He says, I'm not sharing or following behind other men. And then she says things like, if that is what you think, and don't say things I don't want to happen. It's like as if she has no intentions of seeing other men while figuring us out, but certain things she throws up a red flag to me, because I always assume the worst, not just with her, it's just the way that every woman I've been involved with. And I would say the reason it's like this happens with every woman you've just shared with me, and the reason that happens is because you're trying to force her to commit to something she's not ready for, and you cannot do that with women. If you try to force women to be serious or exclusive with you, when they're not bringing it up, when they're not asking you for it, it means that they're not ready. And you're just going to make it, you're going to delay the two of you getting back to the point where she wants to be exclusive with you if you keep bringing this crap up. So it's like in a roundabout way, it's like your bad behavior is still slipping out. He says, when we were together, she was faithful even in the midst of my BS in the relationship. She says she loves me and she cares for me. She moved into a new apartment, and without me asking for a key, she gave me an extra key to her apartment. But then she said that even though you got the key, to call before you come over because you never know who may be there. So I played it off myself. It's like, what I would say if she's like, you never know who's going to be there. It's like, well, hopefully if I come over, you'll have another girl and we can have a great time together. Love is playful and fun. You always say shit like that. He says, so I played it off myself and I said, well, I seen your neighbors who were very attractive, and you may come home to see my car and look for me at your apartment, but I'll be with your neighbor. And we laughed about it. That's a great comeback. See, you're keeping it funny, you're keeping it light, you're not being serious, and you're communicating. It doesn't really bother you that much. I don't know what to figure out about these mixed signals from her, but I told her I'm not rushing her and that we can take it slow. If you want to date other men, let me know so I can get out of the picture. Again, you're trying to nail her down to a commitment, and it's too soon. And you shouldn't be bringing these things up. You're acting like a woman when you bring these things up. That's what's happening. And that's why things are delayed in you getting her to the point where you want her to be. He says, so I'm starting to look for other women, and I still keep in touch with the women I've been seeing before my ex came back into the picture, so not to be hung up on her like I was several months ago, just in case it doesn't work out in the end. And she told you, date other women, and you think she's dating other men. Great. You need to date other women and have a good time with them, so you don't get all hung up on her and fixated on her if it doesn't work out. Because you got to remember, you had you had 2 years to do a lot of things and fuck up a lot of things, and it's always harder when you spend a lot of time fucking things up to try to undo that stuff. Because in the back of her mind is always going to be the negative things of how you made her feel in the past. He says, I'm starting to think she is testing me to see if I am the same fast-tempered, argumentative, jealous, insecure jackass I was when we were together, to see if I made any personal changes in my character. She says she notices my changes and that she likes it, but thinks it's just an act to get her back. And yeah, she's definitely testing you, and she's going to be watching you like a hawk, and that's why you got to do everything right. You got to stop trying to force her to commit to you. You don't have the right. You have not earned it yet. And the only way you know when you've earned it is when she starts bringing it up. I got back home yesterday, and the key she left for me that was on the kitchen counter for 3 days was left on my bed pillow to her apartment. And that tells me if she put it on your pillow, it's her way of communicating that you're doing a lot of things right, and she likes it. He says, P.S. She's about to start a job that will keep her stressed out and working long hours, 14 to 16 hours a day, and I think that she's making her act kind of crazy, and also because she talks about her new position, she talks about it with little enthusiasm and worry. And do you have any advice? And it's not her job that's the problem. The problem is you. The problem is you're trying to force her to do something she's not ready for. And like I say, topics of dating, relationship, exclusivity, being in a relationship together is something that you got to let the woman bring up. And doing it, you bringing it up in an indirect way by saying, oh, if you're dating other guys, I'm out of here, let me know so I can bolt. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're going to fuck it up if you keep doing that. So stop trying to get her to commit to those things. Just focus on having a good time together. Focus on having great dates. Focus on having great sex with her. Focus on having fun, keeping her smile. No drama. Don't be talking about the future or any of that crap. If she brings it up, let her talk about it. Say, what do you mean? Tell me more. What else? And get to the bottom of it when she brings these things up. And until she starts talking about exclusivity and relationships and you two only being together, she'll get to the point when she's there, she'll tell you that she doesn't want you dating other women. And she'll tell you things like, if you were dating other women, I'd be mad if I found out if you were still dating other girls. And then you know that she's basically saying these are the boundaries and you're all mine and you shouldn't be dating and sleeping with any of these other women. So good job on all the things you did to get her back, but you still got some work to do. Like I said, you got to just stop bringing up these things about dating and relationships if you want to get her to the point where she brings it up with you. And from what you share with me here, she sounds like a completely normal, healthy, regular girl that is going to respond the same way any woman was. So just treat her the way she needs to be treated, and eventually she's going to bring it up with you and want you to be her boyfriend again. So if you have a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which is going to be in the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max detailing your questions, your situation, your challenges, and you just got to give me several days to get back to you with a response because I get a lot of email from the internet, and I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers. But be patient, and I will get back to you. And if you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which is going to be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions.